Hey guys, it's your favourite internet plumber, Saint, and today I'm giving you 5 tips on how to be the best apprentice you can be. Maybe the best tradesman as well if you've already gone through your apprenticeship and you're kind of a bit of a dud. This is for you, alright? Don't forget to hit that subscribe down in the corner. I'm doing this to help you out, and I honestly think these 5 tips are going to be really helpful for you through your apprenticeship and all the way through your career as a tradesman. Let's get into number 1. So first things first, where you work is a key point. The thing is, I know that getting an apprenticeship is hard. If you can get one, get one. But at the same time, if you can work towards trying to get into a certain area, it might favour you in the long run. I mean, you got to think of the consequences of going into a commercial, that you have numerous bosses and you only do one style of plumbing for a long period of time. You might be the best person at laying pipes, but when it comes to having a blocked one, you're up shit creek. So location's definitely a key. Domestic versus industrial versus commercial. In a domestic, you might just have a domestic drainage, and all you do is drainage. You don't even know how to put a toilet in. So my personal opinion is a smaller company that does a little bit of everything. So domestic, maybe has a couple of kitchen companies and gets some random work for some factory roof, or who knows. So you get a bit of everything and you get that one-on-one appeal of having the boss actually go through and explain you things, rather than you learning from, say, doing the same thing over and over and over and over and over again. Dishonest versus honest. That's another thing to think about. You can have a boss that just cuts corners and rips off customers, and or is a massive 1-800 number plumbing company that does domestic and maintenance work, but at the same time you don't understand how much things actually cost, because the overheads are massive and it's a more of a dishonest kind of environment, where an honest environment would be just your guy who goes around and wants to solve plumbing problems for the customer, and you get that real close customer one-on-one, which is very handy as well. So as I said, domestic's really a good place to start your career. Okay, number 2 is always be paying attention and try and think ahead. Really think that from the start of your plumbing career, or any trade career for that matter, your boss is going to have you standing there kind of just behind him while he works, and you'll learn from absorbing how he's going about it. But what you should be starting to get into is thinking ahead. So seeing that he's cutting a piece of copper, and maybe grab his flaring block and hammer, give it to him. You'd be surprised. Really the beginning of you knowing what's coming next. It really helps when you go out to the van and you're sitting there and you're looking through the van and you're like, oh, what have I got to do for this job? The job might be 3 hours worth of work. You've got so much you can carry. It's best to have an understanding of the gauge of work, and the best way to begin getting that understanding is from absorbing and paying attention to surroundings. A good boss in that circumstance will generally feed you that information as you're progressing, explain it as he's going through it. But if he doesn't, really, you can do that. Like, just through watching and thinking at the same time, you can really achieve it'll shock him. It'll shock your boss when you start just doing things for him without him asking. Little story on paying attention. I had an apprentice once that we were working in quite a nice house, and I said, look, when you're all done in the bathroom, in the toilet, flick the water on and give it all a test. He went out, turned the water on. I could hear just water rushing. I thought, oh, Jesus. So I get up, I go into the bathroom, and sure enough, there's an Arco for the toilet on full blast. I turn it off, I quickly run, get towels. I'm toweling up all this water. It's been about 5 minutes, still haven't seen my apprentice. So at this point, I'm furious. So I run outside. Sure enough, he's down the hill, standing over the water meter on the phone to his mate. Oh, fuck it. You do not want to forget for a second. If you have a live gas pipe or a live water pipe, you can flood a house, you could kill somebody. So you really need to be paying attention in this caper. Okay, number 3. Basically, pace, timing, time management. You don't want to be the kid that drags his feet. No one wants to go, hey mate, can you run out to the van and get the plunger? And you got to wait because the bloke's just walking out. He thinks, oh, I'm outside, oh, this is my chance to check your phone. It's not. If you are an efficient worker and you do things fast, that your boss should let you check your phone because you're just a kick-ass apprentice. You get away with those things more. Where if you're the guy who's dragging his feet and he's slow, you'll constantly be told, come on mate, come on mate, come on mate. And honestly, like, come on mate, like, get off your ass. Along with that, pace and time management is also assessing the job and going out to the van, and instead of just getting the plunger, think about what you're going to need down the track as well if there is something else on that job, and get a few other things. You've got that time to maximise, so you're not walking out to the van and back constantly. Keep your area clean. Is as well as that, time management. If you have a clean ute or van, you have a much better chance of finding what you need to find quicker. I had an apprentice that just, for the love of God, no matter what, he would always go find the easiest tool to do the job. It's not what you want to do. What you want to do is, let's just say for example, there's a piece of timber coming out about 20 mil past and you need to cut it off. He would go out to the van and he would find a saber saw. All that time you spent, when you've got a wood saw right next to you and you've been cutting pipe all day, just get the wood saw. Sure, it takes a little bit more of the old elbow grease and a bit more shoulder work, but you cut the piece of timber in about 10 seconds rather than wasting 5 minutes going out and getting a tool that you're not going to use for the rest of the job. If you can work to getting yourself into a routine of maximising time, it's really going to be beneficial in your career long term. One last one for that is obviously be on time. Be punctual. Don't be 5 minutes late with an iced coffee in your hand. Like, your boss is going to crack the shits. Be on time. Be 5 minutes before time. You do that for long enough, when you do sleep in because you had a massive night on the cans before and you're 5-10 minutes late or half an hour late, you're not going to get your ass kicked by the boss because you've ingrained in him that you've got a real good work ethic. Okay, number 4. Don't be afraid to make mistakes. Honestly, you learn from making mistakes. One thing that making mistakes does do is gives you an opportunity to fix it. There'll be a point where you'll be left to do work for yourself, and that's where you want to either make a mistake and repair the mistake, still be honest about it to your boss, saying, I stuffed up, I had a crack at trying to see if I could get around that. I couldn't, I cut it out, I ended up going the other way and drilling through. We got there in the end. That is a way for you to learn confidence, because the next time you're looking at something similar to that on a different job, you'll know to not try to go around there, or if you have to, you'll know that time that's not going to be the way. You might have to change your thoughts, maybe change the diameter of the pipe. There's so many different options, but those different options come from trial and error. It's the confidence that you get from doing the right work and consistently achieving good looking jobs that gives you the confidence to go in, and eventually you won't even think. You'll just know how to do it. All the materials will be in your head, and that's when you know you're an efficient plumber. A good example, I watched Matty. I love Matty. I watched Matt. He was standing on a ladder and he was doing 100 mil sewer coming across, and he did really good work. He had to 45 around some things, but he turned out he'd actually come through his ladder with the pipe work and joined it all up. His ladder was in the pipe work. Really, it was a pisser. But realistically, he won't do that again. I let him make that mistake. I was laughing my ass off in my head until he realised, and then it was all out laughing, don't get me wrong, but he'll never do that again. So trial and error builds confidence. Just make it more achieving than error as you progress through your apprenticeship. Okay, number 5. Now this one's a big one. Learn to be well spoken. Get a good understanding of customer relations, the right way to order materials, the right way to speak around customers. Don't go sucking darts and flicking cigarettes in people's yards and swearing the second that they close the door. All those things, they add up. Learning to be well spoken and getting a good conversation with the customer or your boss or anybody is going to be beneficial in life. So it'll help you job interviews in the future, being able to articulate your plumbing confidence and ability. If you do have your own company, you still have to get the job over the line. You're in a small job interview while you go and knock on the door and they open. They can tell you to piss off. If you're standing there with your pants around your ankles, they might go, mate, can you leave? We'll get a different plumber. So that's obviously an extreme example, but realistically, building that well-spoken, confident persona as a tradesman will help you long ways into the future. If you want to really progress and get to the point where you can work for anybody and have everybody confident in having you do their work, it comes from building that customer rapport, building that confidence that gets you well spoken, gets you really friggin' gets you to the point where you might do YouTube videos because you're that confident in your friggin' ability. What up? Alright, that's it. There's basically the 5 main things that you should really do. Like, obviously I didn't talk about, you know, the right tools to use in the right environments. Like, all those things are very handy. You know, somewhere down the track I might do something like that, but really the mindset to be a good tradesman comes from confidence and also comes from just really absorbing your environment. So hopefully this helps you out if you're a young bloke trying to have a crack and maybe you've had a couple of jobs and they're just not working out and you're just thinking, fuck, I'm not doing anything, you know, this video is telling me. Maybe it's time to switch it up and see how you can go. As I said, hit that subscribe, like, comment. I've got a funny video on the way. I might do one before that. I'm not sure. I'm pretty inconsistent about what content I'm bringing out, but at the same time, I'm going to just keep bringing it out. So hit the subscribe, hit the like, comment what you want to see, and if this has helped you in any way, let me know, man, because yeah, having good plumbers out there is really efficient for the whole friggin' country. So let's just be the best people we can be.
Plumbersaint is thick and juicy. Alright, goodbye everybody.